Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We got another overgrown yard to clean up. As you can see, the front yard needs a lot of trimming, mowing, edge work, some tree trimming. Here's another shot of the front, and it gets much worse going to the back. Really overgrown right next to the house here. Typical. Heat reflects, causes growth. And the neighbor has been doing his side. As you can see, a clear line right down the middle. Definitely overgrown. Has seen better days. Now here, I don't know what we got going on here. I think we have a really long garden bed going all the way to the back, which I'm not sure what was planted in here, but I got some wood right here. So there's some type of bed system all the way along. That's something for us to discover. Good amount of work here. The grass is soaking wet, as you can tell by my shoes and pants, but I'd rather cut wet grass than dry grass. Another shot of the other side of the yard here. I was actually driving by and had to stop and knock on the homeowner's door and see if they needed any help. And a gentleman with a baby answered, and I offered to clean up his yard for free. And number one answer from people, oh, I'm actually planning on doing it today or tomorrow, which in his case, he said, I'm gonna do it today. I'm like, well, I'll help you out for free, man. There's no charge to it. I make content around it and I get paid through my videos. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's what I do for a living. He's like, well, I don't want to like, you know, bug you, or I don't want it to slow down your operation. I'm like, brother, the longer, the crazier, the better. And so we ended up talking a little bit. I got him on the schedule. And so here we are, ready to tackle his lawn, ready to help him out. So that is one less task for him to do. And hey, that just gives more time for him to spend with the family. And also his kids will be able to play in the yard. So that's always a blessing. Hope you guys stay tuned to the end for the amazing before and after pictures. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's begin working. Look at all that string I pulled off. This is the damage that rope was causing. Look at this. Literally made an indent and damage around the branches. That's why we needed to remove it. We want to let it naturally grow at this point, but it just needs to be trimmed so it doesn't hang. That way you don't have to tie it up. But my guess that this home is a rental, and maybe when the previous renters, one of them did the little rope method and completely forgot to untie it, but let it breathe, grow naturally. That's the best way. Hey everyone, it's Phil, and let me tell you, lawn mowing has never been easier than it is today. Thanks to modern technology, you can now mow your lawn with just a push of a button, and Navimo has made that possible. Forget about digging trenches or laying down perimeter wires. Navimo uses smart virtual boundary technology for a completely wire-free mowing experience. With so many features to cover all of your needs and worries, you can finally reclaim your weekends and spend more time doing what you love without worrying about lawn maintenance. Enjoy the freedom of hands-free lawn care with the Segway Navimo X3 series. From mowing to recharging, this robot lawnmower handles it all, both during the daytime and night. And do keep in mind, guys, that the X350 has an extended runtime of up to 200 minutes and enables coverage up to 0.3 acres. That means in just 30 minutes, the mower is able to mow over 5,000 square feet, up to 1.5 acres in 24 hours. I've dropped a link in the description if you want to learn more about the product, and big thank you to Navimo for making lawn care effortless. Now let's get back to the video. Well, it was a 30-footer, 30-foot sod snake. Got that. Well, looks like this is supposed to be here. This little trellis. We'll leave it. just like that, we are done and ready to hit the road. But before we do, we gotta compact all this so it don't fly out, because I don't have an extra tarp. So we're gonna have to go to the yard disposal area, or yard waste disposal. Oh, this is soft. But it's not gonna be fun trying to unload compacted grass. What was that? Something sounded like it unlocked. Check our gates. Ah. Okay, I think we're ready to hit the road. Got everything packed up, and I'm glad we were able to help this family out with the free yard makeover. And I can't do this without you guys. I think it turned out really nice. Let me know what you guys think. And just by talking to him for a little bit, I noticed that it almost looked like I woke him up, but he does work nights, and so of course there's another reason why he's unable to mow it. Young family, I'm willing to help anybody out, willing to be a blessing to anybody, make this family's lives just a little bit easier. Hopefully it carries them through for maybe a month, maybe 2, I don't know. I don't think that they watered their lawn, just based off of how dry it is. So I think it'll look this cut, hopefully throughout the whole year. I don't know, maybe it'll grow a little bit, but not as much as we got in the spring. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Phil with Phil's Lawn Care. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing and liking. That is the best way to support my work. Thank you again so much. Take care. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one, and enjoy these before and after pictures.